Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back with Kev for your match preview for Aston Villa against Nottingham Forest. I've titled this Another Huge Game. And Kev, they're all huge games at the moment, aren't there? None bigger than this one against Nottingham Forest on Saturday. A real Champions League showdown, shall we say?
Well, when you are an elite team these days, then you get to April and you've got interesting fixtures still happening at the right end of the table, and that's where we are right now as a club. What an exciting time! Another massive match, and I mean, what it would do for us if we got the win, I think, would be absolutely tremendous in terms of keeping that momentum going. But we will get right into all of that, Richard.
Exactly. Before we do, obviously, guys, hit that like button as we always ask you to do. Hit the subscribe button. We've had loads of support this week. We're marching on very, very close to 5,500 subscribers. Want to hit 6K as soon as we can, and then on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Keep your comments flowing in as well. Obviously, people in the chat already. Hello to you all. But yeah, in terms of Wednesday, I've not really had. We were going to do a bit of a match reaction last night, but couldn't get on for whatever reason. But yeah, just your sort of thoughts in general from Wednesday night's performance. Thoroughly professional. Great to see Rashford getting his first Premier League goal. Great to see Marland on the score sheet. Anything else that was really pleasing to you as well?
I think that you need a bit of luck in these games sometimes, and that that not hitting the shoulder of Mitoma and hitting his arm instead means you probably you can see the goal there. Who knows what happens? But it was reminiscent for me of like a lot of games in the early sort of period of Emery when we went on some of those great away performances. I remember there was a great one at Chelsea. I think maybe a couple of times Spurs when. A lovely goal with McGinn and Louise linking up. God, Louise, remember Louise? Oh, I don't moment then. And the professionalism of those performances was a hallmark of Emery's Villa away from home. Big part of why we obviously got to where we got to, because that home form was obviously unbelievable as well. We picking up points on the road. You haven't got to be a rocket scientist to work out if you're getting points away and points at home consistently, you get higher up the league table. It was great. I mean, I've got to say, and I'd put a tweet out at the time. I thought this tweet might have got a bit more heat, actually. Not that I look for heat on my tweets, but just because the ire that I was feeling. I mean, the worst decision I think I've ever seen from a penalty not being given. I'm angry about that than about most things I see on the news in terms of crimes around the world. Like, it's an unacceptable. I don't know if you saw the tweet. I said basically everyone at PGMOL, even the ones not involved in the game, should be sacked immediately for that decision. It's disgraceful. It didn't get anywhere near the level of heat it should have got because of obviously the Tarkovsky career-ending attempt on McAllister.
Yeah.
But that, I look at it now and think, brilliant that we won 3-0, but that could have easily been. I really feel our season could have been different if Elliot Anderson had been rightly reprimanded for the pullback on Morgan Rogers in that Forest away game, and obviously then Duran scores next. Let's say who's to say Duran would have scored next? But you get my point. If you turn up at Forest, maybe they're not as far ahead of us as they are. We keep a bit of momentum going in the season there, and that was a horrendous decision as well. Ramsey does a great step over. He's basically through. He's absolutely hacked out. It's not given. Now, luckily, we look at it, and you know what? We've got a 3-0 win, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it's the most blatant, and I don't know what. Has the VAR guy or lady, whoever it was, got glaucoma? I mean, what is wrong with them?
Well, they need some of them glasses that Edgar Davids had if they do.
I mean, wow, it doesn't meet the threshold. I mean, what's the threshold now? Does he need to bring out some
It's a
nuns? I mean,
it's a made up word. It's a made up word.
it's a made up word.
What was obviously it was clear and obvious error that was like 2 or 3 years ago, and now it's meeting the threshold. That's the new
Yeah.
word.
Yeah, I feel like the response should be to the VAR. Your mom doesn't meet the threshold, because we're all being farcical now, aren't we? Let's just all be stupid about it. Like, I mean, I can't get my head around it. It is the most blatant penalty I've ever seen, and I shouldn't
Well,
really be talking about it to this level of victory.
no,
One
I
3-0.
know. Yeah, yeah. We've got to the point again where the VAR doesn't want to, because they've said they don't want to re-referee the game. We've got to the farcical point now where they won't interfere with what the referee said anymore. Again, like they won't ask the referee to review a decision or re-look at a decision for kind of things like that. It's just bizarre.
Do,
It's
do you know what else as well? I feel like the refs are getting away with it a little bit. I mean, the referee is on the pitch. It's a clear foul. He does a step over and he moves to the opposite direction and he takes him down. I mean, it's a penalty. It doesn't look like he's dived. But then you've got the good thing, you've got the safety net. I've got to say, right, I know he's obviously losing it a little bit and he's getting a bit stressed, but I totally agree with Ange Postecoglou last night. I totally agree with him. I know he's getting it on the, against the pundits and stuff, the interviewers, and I feel a bit for him because I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think I think he's just obviously his time's nearly up. But 6 minutes, whatever it was, even if it was 4 or 5 minutes, it's not clear and obvious.
it's
I
just
mean
ridiculous.
that would have helped us.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually didn't think it was as much of a foul as everyone said it was. I thought it was just clash of kind of going for the ball together. And I mean, I guess it's a foul, but you get my point. But it is ruining it. And the problem is this: it works out really well. But what if that wasn't given? Obviously, we saw it, and then Brighton go on score, and then you end up chasing the game. They get a second later on. You've lost 2-0. Momentum's totally died. It can change a season. It can
Yeah.
cost
Yeah.
managers jobs and players contracts and all sorts of stuff. And you know what, the thing is never really talked about. What if a team just about gets relegated? What about all the staff that lose
Well,
jobs?
look, Kev, this is the reason why VAR was asked for in the first place. If you roll back 7 8 years, this is what Sam Allardyce and all these managers at the time were saying. Oh, it's going to cost managers jobs if you don't
Yeah,
get technology in to help these referees. Da, 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 da. So look, I understood what they were saying at the time, but now we can't. Same managers can't be arguing for the opposite once it's been brought back in. Like they knew that it would ruin the experience for match going fans. They knew that this would happen. If those referees were incompetent at the time, then what makes you think that they're going to be competent with dealing
yeah.
with a new form of technology? And what makes you think that it's going to clean up all of the talking points that come about? It's just made the talking points even worse because all you do is argue about what VAR says rather than argue about what the referee or the linesman gave.
Do you know what's interesting as well? I don't know if anyone can tell me in the comments here, and you can tell me your view on it. I don't remember many situations where, when it's talked about from a pundit's perspective, either at half time or commentators obviously don't see it because I don't necessarily see the replays, but in terms of the pundits at half time at the end of the match, they're all pretty unanimous in terms of the decision. It's very rare I see someone sitting there going, no, I thought it was a penalty. I mean, I know it happens sometimes. So what's wrong with having a scenario where you go to, I don't know, 10 former pros, just go to the Soccer Saturday studios and say, right, lads, have a look at this. Or ladies, obviously, because obviously it's a big mixture now. What do you all think? Oh, 8 of us think it's a penalty, 2 of us think it's not. Like a jury. All right, penalty. I mean, you could do that, I reckon, in 30 seconds. 3, 4, 5, penalty, not penalty. I mean, you've got supposed experts, and some of the decisions are just, I mean, it's baffling. The person that was responsible for that, I'm not, this is not hyperbole, right? I'm not saying this to exaggerate and be my usual sort of like, crazy self. They should be sacked for that decision. It's abhorrent. I mean, it's not, there's no error there. But anyway, let me have a bit of peppermint tea for a sec, right? I've kept that in right since Wednesday night.
Yeah, yeah,
Even when
I could tell. I could
even when
tell.
we won, I was the next day going, "This is a disgrace." So anyway, what a performance! What a win! I've been saying for a bit of time. I've been waiting for Villa to vindicate me at some point. Like I felt like you remember what I said about 3 or 4 months ago? There's a combination of factors, right? Duran worldies, you can't legislate for that happening all the time. Watkins missing a hat full of chances, worst, obviously, goal conversion to big chances in the league, in terms of those players. Conceding on every single first shot on target against you. Defensive injuries. There's just a combination of sort of scenarios there that aren't going to be repeated. And I knew at some point we'd start to score more goals with the attacking talent that we've got. And I knew at some point we'd start to concede a few less goals. And again, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to realize that's going to get you more results. 6 wins now in a row, is it? Which is our best record, I think, since Dean Smith in the Championship. Best in the Premier League, probably for, what was it, Martin O'Neill, maybe? Sort of, God knows how long ago that was. Maybe nearly 20 years. So, massive credit. And we're coming into form at the right time. Sorry, shaking there because my Great Dane was kicking me as he stretched. Getting into form at the right time, keeping clean sheets at the right time. Marlon getting his goal, even though it ruined it for me in Deontay's predictions league because I had a 2-0 away with and he ruined it at the end. Buzzing for him. He's getting confident. Rashford's getting his confidence. Asensio keeps on scoring. Pau Torres is back in the team. Onana's made an appearance. I mean, there's a lot of positives now, Richard. It's a lot of positives. I know it could all go like kaput this month with a couple of bad defeats, but there is a lot of momentum. And I was chatting to someone the other night about this. Football, I still think this is a massively overlooked thing, right? When Leicester won the Premier League, some people still don't think that. For me, the biggest reason they did that was because they were rock bottom the year before. Rock bottom with quite a bit of the season gone. And they won 7 of the last 9. I think they won 7 and drew 1 of the last 9 games. Imagine Southampton doing that now. Imagine that now. Imagine how amazing that would be to win 7 and draw 1 of the last 9 games, and then to win the league next season. And do you know what did it for them? Yeah, good signings, whatever. Momentum. That's what I think Blues will do back-to-back promotions. Momentum. And for Villa right now, we've got momentum. We're winning matches. The players are feeling good. It becomes something that becomes addictive. It's like a virus, but in a positive way. People catch it. You start to believe you're going to win. You start to believe when you go behind, you're going to score. And I think if we can keep that going, special things could happen this season. So I'll leave that suitably open when I say special things. But yeah, I think it's an amazing moment for us. And I feel like we're getting stronger and stronger as the race comes to an end.
Absolutely. We've got so many comments coming in. Obviously, we've got loads about the referee and the VAR, but I feel like Kev's rant has kind of covered all of that.
Thanks,
Eddie
guys.
said we deserve a win. We're much stronger team. 3-0 Villa. So he's already very confident. Sea-King says Villa will finish strong. So very right that. And he's also said he sensed for ages that we're about to hit form. Kevin said we've only lost 2 in 2025, Wolves and Palace. How mad is that?
Well, let me just quickly respond to Kev's point, right? Fellow Kev, what a name. Like the Wolves game, Marlon's goal was absolutely fine. That would have been 1-1, wouldn't it? And Palace, that goal where it was disallowed, where was it when Rodgers scored, when Watkins was supposedly offside? That was another horrendous decision. So so again, both of those games could have been very different. If I know Palace ended up being a bit of a shit show in the end, but you get my point. Like it could have been very different. It wasn't like we were absolutely terrible. I mean, obviously the Palace game ended badly, but you get my point. Like bad decisions cost us in both those games.
Oh, definitely. We were, like you say, we didn't play particularly well in either of them, but goals change games, right? And there's certain situations. That Wolves game, we're in the middle of playing in that period of that game, playing really well, and had that goal counted, would have probably, who knows what would have happened. We could have gone on to win that game. Momentum. But you just take exactly, Kev. You just take it as it comes. But absolutely right in terms of. Patty says, "Yeah, you are dead right, Kev. We've got the momentum and the bench now, and that's exactly what I was just about to say. With regards to not just momentum, but we've got options now to utilize, and it's almost as hard to pick a team at the moment because we've got so many players who can come in and out and interchangeable, and it's not like last season before where it was a considerable drop off who was coming on. If anything, it could be an improvement that you're bringing off the bench. If you're bringing Asensio off the bench, if you're bringing Onana off the bench, Watkins off the bench, these are all amazing footballers who can win you games off the back of off their backs anyway. So it's not just momentum; it's the quality of the squad that we have now. And I said this a few weeks ago: if they click, we've arguably got the strongest squad in terms of options off the bench in the league,
Yeah,
and that's
unbelievable.
no exaggeration. You know,
Unbelievable.
you look at players that aren't getting in at the moment. I think Justin put on X, Justin from UTV channel, all the options, and he missed Lamar Bogard out actually. But the quality of the forward players, Bailey, Watkins, Morgan Rogers, Jacob Ramsey, if John McGinn plays further forward, Marco Asensio, Marcus Rashford, Daniel Marlin, it's just scary. And that's again another string on the bow of what we've got to look for this season.
Yeah, I was chatting to someone the other day. I think Bailey's got a little injury, hasn't he? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think people knew that the other day. And I think all of us just thought and actually had accepted the fact that Bailey just wasn't in the squad. Not because he was being terrible, but because we just had too many options of players to play. And at some point, someone's got to miss out. And this is the guy that was probably the best winger in the league last season, particularly the first half of it, and I know he's dropped off a bit this season. We talked about it a lot, but you get my point. Like, to think that he's not even in the squad, and obviously you've got Ross Barkley, who's been a key player for us at moments this season to come back in. It's unbelievable. I know we were saying at the start of the season we had the best strike force in the league with Watkins and Duran, and to think that we've sold Duran, and obviously we've just the players we've brought in, the impact they're having, the options that we've got. I mean, it is just. I think it's frightening. I mean, to pick the team now, as a Villa fan, I think we could have. You could probably ask everyone in the comments, and I think you could have 10 different teams.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, and also what it means is that it's easier for Unai Emery to put the demands on the players to do what he's asking them to do. So it's easier for him to say to Jacob Ramsey, when you get the ball, I want you to run at it. Run with the ball. I want you to get us territory. I want you to beat your man. It's easy for him to say to players like Morgan Rogers, I want you to work up and down this right-hand side. As soon as you get it, I want you to look for Rashford in behind. It's easy for him to say, Marcus, I want you to look for off the shoulder of the defender. Any opportunity you get, shoot. Because he can have those expectations on those players, because if they don't do it, he's got equally, or if not better, options to bring on off the bench. So not only have they got the confidence to do that, but they've also got the pressure of someone else could take your spot.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Well, it's no surprise to see Cash has improved since Garcia's come. It's no surprise, absolutely not. And Jacob Ramsey's got a bit better. Well, you got Marcus Rashford breathing down your neck, and it's brilliant. It's what you need. It's absolutely what you need. You need that competition for places. And we've said it many times. Different players are going to have their moments. It was interesting, wasn't it? Because it was actually surprised to not see Mings play. Although I think he did absolutely need a bit of a rest, even though he's obviously had that break in Dubai when they were over there. But we don't have any drop off. Pau Torres comes back into the team, and you keep another clean sheet. You're bringing off Disasi to shore it up. Disasi, who, you could play any four of our centre halves, any four of them. Sorry, any two of them out of the four, and I'll be happy. Yeah. Any two of them. I wouldn't care who. Name any one of them. I know, and I love Mings defensively, but so many different qualities. You could play either of our right backs. I'll be happy. Either our left backs, I'll be happy. You get what I'm saying, and the quality through the team. Other than probably Martinez, Kamara, probably Watkins. Who's a guaranteed starter in that team?
Well, Watkins, I know he had a bit of a knee injury, he's nursing it back, but we've said it before. Obviously, when Duran was in there, if Rashford keeps scoring, then
maybe
yeah. But Rashford can equally play off the left.
Yeah, you're probably looking at Tielemans, Kamara, Martinez, aren't you? Maybe you could argue Konza, like guaranteed starters, and that's not because the rest are terrible. It's because there's just too many options.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've certainly got the games to come as well to rotate the squad, which is exactly what's needed. I think Deco said there's no first 11; it's just pure squad. Kevin says all the bench players have something to prove, and it shows. And Gary just say just Martinez, who now needs the competition. We've got the dream team, says Patty, on and off the pitch. And obviously, yeah, I think there was that video with Chris Heck
Yeah,
talking about the improvements and the vision
right.
and what he wants to bring. And it looks like they're hopefully going to, the plans are going to come into fruition a year ahead of schedule, which is absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean,
the biggest beer hall in the UK, isn't it, or something?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's going to be a
All
chant,
the
isn't it?
all the important stuff. Yeah, we got the biggest beer hall in the world. We got the biggest beer hall in the. I mean, it's good. That's going to go viral. That one, isn't it? I
Biggest beer hall in the UK. You'll
yeah.
never sing that.
Yeah, I love it. That Boubacar Kamara song hasn't gone down too well yet. And as your one,
No,
as your one,
all my Daniel Marlin one.
your one's
I'll get it
probably
going. I'll get it going.
a bit
Yeah.
better one. Someone did that. Someone did one in the comments. I don't know. What was it about another Boubacar Kamara ones? What did someone say? To
Oh,
give me hope, Joanna, give
yeah,
me
yeah.
yeah, Boubacar Kamara, if we can get it going, I think it'd be good. But anyway,
One day, Kev,
one
one
day.
day. So Nottingham Forest on Saturday. We talked about Villa's squad. Let's talk a bit about Forest. Had a fantastic season. Again, it's kind of echoes of Aston Villa. Right manager with the right group of players that were ready for that sort of tactical plan, and they've sort of, I guess, thrown out the rule book with the way that they play. They're also a bit of a throwback, a bit like, I guess, when Unai first came in, like you said before. So, well, Villa were away from home, kind of Forest do this in home and away, but utilize a good, solid defense, good, solid foundation, quick fullbacks, and then, absolutely lightning fast wingers with a really, really good target man. And it's been really effective this season. They've been absolutely brilliant. Everyone's kind of said that they'll drop off, they'll do this, they'll do that. But right now, they're continuing to win games.
Yeah, they've kept it going and kept it going. They've almost done like you say, like Villa did, where they kept it going. I know we obviously started to drop off at the same time Spurs did, basically, but I, they're massively, massively overachieving. They would have been some people's pick for relegation this season.
Yeah,
Still,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I know Elanga and obviously Hudson-Odoi have been tremendous. Elliot Anderson's been great. I mean, Milenkovic has been brilliant. Ola Aina's been great. I mean, let's be clear, Chris Woods had the season of his life, and it's that M word again. It's that momentum word. They've kept it going and kept it going and kept it going, and you start to the belief builds. You start to believe you're going to win. I mean, I watched a little bit of the game against Man United the other day, and I felt Man United actually had quite a bit of the game. But again,
Yeah.
it's momentum. I mean, it's interesting to think though, if we beat them on Saturday, which I absolutely believe confidently that we will, then we're only 6 points behind. And I know it's still a fair chunk, but if you think about all the other teams that will be in between us as well, I still think there's a chance for Forest that they could slip away if they lose a couple, which they could easily do. Then all of a sudden that gap is from, I don't know, call it 6, 7, 8 points to 2, 3 points, and then psychologically it's a bit different. But either way, they're going to get some kind of Europe, and they're probably going to get Champions League because there's a number of teams that need to get past them. And you've got to give huge credit. This is the amazing thing about football, isn't it? Like Oli Solskjaer's getting some plaudits, isn't he, for the job he's obviously doing right now over in Turkey, isn't he? And
Right.
you think about like obviously some of the grief he got, when he was at Man United and being out of his depth. And I remember Nuno at Spurs,
Yeah, yeah,
terrible,
yeah.
terrible, no good. Look at him now; he's a good chance for manager of the season if he keeps this going. Look at Unai Arsenal.
Mhm.
At the end, everyone. I mean, I went to that Villa game when we lost 3-2 and Aubameyang scored, and I think Grealish and Wesley sort of combined for some of our goals, and the toxicity around that ground was unbelievable. And now look at what he's doing with us. You've got to give him huge credit, and I think he's done a really good job there with a group of players. He's assembled that squad really well. They've been probably fairly lucky with injuries to key players and keeping them fit, but you do not take Nottingham Forest for granted now. It will not be an easy game, and you know what? It's also good to see. I mean, for maybe a slightly more older fan, I know we're not like that old, but Forest were always a big team for
Oh
me.
yeah, Cloughie, best manager in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah,
So
fantastic.
yeah,
We're
absolutely.
competing at the top. I mean, I think obviously, a bit before our time, winning to win the league and then back-to-back European Cups is unbelievable. To think then, 10, 12 years later after that, they won back-to-back League Cups. I think they got to a FA Cup final in '91 when they lost to lost to Spurs, and then basically, I think other than a little spell when they had Brian Roy and Stan Collymore in the early 90s, they've been out of it for best part of 2 decades, haven't they? So,
Mm.
huge credit to him, really. It's going to be a big test for Villa, but Villa Park on TV, evening kickoff. I really fancy us.
I do. I do as well. I don't think we catch them though. I think they're pretty nailed on for top four. I have to say. I think they've got enough games in the tank. I think they've got enough points in the tank. I think that win against Man United was a big win for them. I mean, 57 points. They probably need another 10 points to guarantee it. And then obviously it goes to fifth spot this season. So I think they've got like Ipswich and Southampton or something out of their, two of those games. I've been on
Never
enough
say never,
podcasts.
mate.
I've been on enough podcasts with Wolfie from Forest Fan TV to know what their fixture list is like. So I do think they get it. That being said, I am confident tomorrow in terms of their team news. No Aina, he's injured. Chris Wood is being assessed day by day, so that would be a real risk if he is to start. That makes me seem like he's not going to risk him, but could put him in the squad, put him on the bench. Alex Moreno, who's on loan from us, obviously can't play, so that makes it more difficult for them in terms of fullback position. But Callum Hudson-Odoi apparently is potentially back fit, although on FOTMob they haven't got him in their predicted lineup. But it does mean Elanga still very, very good player. Gibbs White still fantastic player.
Oh, yeah, Gibbs White, of course,
Awoniyi can cause problems, and then just defensively, Milenkovic and Murillo have been
yeah.
excellent at the back. So still a very, very good side.
Keeper's been good.
Keeper's been very good, but Gibbs White and Elanga are obviously the dangers, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say about us not catching them. I mean, I'm not. I remember when we were talking recently
because we're not.
Well,
we're gonna lose games. There's no
yeah,
way
I
that we're
know,
not going to
but
lose games.
recently, according to a lot of Villa fans, you included, we were never going to have any chance of finishing top five. And
I'm still saying sixth myself
yeah,
personally.
probably likely. But if we beat Forest, we're on 51 points, which is what
Yeah.
I know it's all coulda, shoulda, woulda, and you lose one game and you drop away. But I still do think that that their gap is 5 points from Chelsea, 6 from City, 7 from Newcastle, and 9 from us. Chelsea, Man City, Newcastle, Villa win a game, they lose. All of a sudden, that gap is if you think it happens this weekend, then all of a sudden it's 2 points from Chelsea, 3 points from Man City, and once they start getting reeled in, I do think there's a possibility. Look, I hope it don't. I would love us to finish top 5, and I'd love Forest to be in there as well. I got no love at all for what Chelsea, Man City, etc. have done, but I just look at it and think that I've not really had the pressure on them. I actually feel the same about Liverpool. I think Liverpool have had a bit of a season where kind of everything's sort of gone for them and they've had no real
Oh, it
pressure.
has massively. Yeah.
No pressure,
Yeah.
but credit to them. But
yeah, exactly.
yeah, momentum, mate. Momentum. Who knows? All we can do is just try and win the next game. That's all we can do.
100%. 100%. So I'm just gonna go through some comments. Duncan said the Collymore Roy season was their last third place finish. The two biggest club in the Midlands, says Seeking East versus West. He also said we could finish fifth, but I'd sacrifice that for the cups. Well, I'd sacrifice it for the Champions League, definitely. Don't give any Forest any respect, says Gary. We are the home team. Yeah, definitely. Kevin said a draw wouldn't be the end of the world, but a win is required to really put the pressure on.
We'll win.
I think so, especially after winning on Wednesday. Definitely think that. Adam does say our goal difference is basically a minus point in the table for us. But I've been looking at this and I'm thinking now with the goal threat that we've got and the options that we've got, I do fancy us now to get into that positive goal difference. All it takes is a good win tomorrow against Nottingham Forest, and then a good convincing win against Southampton, which isn't out of the question. And you're all of a sudden you're into plus 5 or 6 goal difference.
Yeah, I'm not really phased about any of our home games really. I know we ain't got the best record against Newcastle, but I still fancy us in that.
At Villa Park we have.
Yeah, at Villa Park, absolutely, yeah. Obviously, we've got away fixtures with Southampton, Man City away. I can't really bother about that really. Palace, obviously, we've got in the FA Cup, so that's finally, thankfully, done. Forest obviously is the next one, and then I think we'll win all our May games. We've got Fulham at home, Bournemouth away, Spurs at home, Man United away. Like, it's 12 points in it.
Well, that's top four done.
Sorted easy. I mean, why not? Someone's got to qualify there. No, look, this is going to be the thing, isn't it? And I think we'll really notice it in April with the squad. You know, the Champions League games will take a lot out of us. You've got the FA Cup game. That Man City game's been squeezed back in. So, but every win we get moving forward, I just start to, the belief builds in me a bit more. And it looked like it was totally off weeks ago, and I was still saying, listen, put a bit of a run together. I was looking like a bit of a mug on some of these podcasts because obviously we weren't putting a run together. Then you'd end up throwing it away. But we're doing it now. We're doing it now. So while it's happening, let's just believe, Richard.
Well, if we can keep it at around 2 points a game average, we'll be in the words of Steve Bruce, there or thereabouts.
There or thereabouts.
Tim says unbeatable at home, absolute fortress. We're on a roll now and have pundits to silence. 10-0 Villa.
That'd sort the goal difference out, wouldn't it?
That would definitely sort the goal difference out. Michael said 9 games in April. It's a big opportunity, but that will be difficult. One thing I do say is you mentioned about the word momentum, which seems to be the word of tonight's show. But you want to just play games when you're winning games. You want to just play, don't you? That's the thing. You want the next game to come. You've got a big squad. You want to be in the starting 11. You want to make sure that you're keeping yourself in that starting 11. As football players, they're not bothered about training. They don't want to do training. They want to play matches. So yep. This is what you're in these moments for. I know we talk about kind of the schedule and all that sort of stuff, but as a player, you want to just play games.
Schedule. You want to be playing FA Cup games and Champions League games in April. It means you're doing something, and you want to have something. And also, it's something to fight for. It's something to aim for. We're going out on that pitch, thinking, my God, and we are the chasers for these spots. It's always better to be the chaser than the one. Yeah. It's always better to be the chaser than the ones holding on.
Yeah.
And we are doing that. And of course, we're looking for other results. And I wish that Sarr goal had stood. That would have really helped us, wouldn't it? But it feels like every match day now is actually really big, isn't it? Because of course you're looking at those fixtures, you look at those teams around you, and obviously what's going on in terms of, they'll have all the permutations waiting this weekend. You'll have everything. You'll be like, right then. Look at the fixtures now. Who's got Villa got Forest. That's obviously a big one. Arsenal are too far away. There's not much else to really bother us. Brighton are away at Palace. Need Palace to do us a favour. And then obviously you got Man United, Man City. Well, Man City we could do with dropping points to Man United. Who knows? So it's interesting, isn't it? Chelsea away at Brentford
at home to Chelsea. Yeah.
Yeah, and Leicester need a win there hosting Newcastle.
Yeah, they ain't gonna beat Newcastle. No chance.
No
chance. Rich says less than half watching have hit the like button. Come on, people. We've got nearly 200 watching, which is fantastic numbers on a Friday night. Thank you so much for your support. But click that like button. It's absolutely free of charge. Hit the subscribe button. It's also free of charge, and help us on the road to 6,000 subscribers. If you do want to donate to the channel by super chat, or you want to become a member, click the join button or drop a donation and click the dollar sign and donate to the channel. So I have hot off the press Martin's predicted lineup. Now he hasn't been in good form lately, but I'll cut him some slack because it's very difficult. It's very difficult to pick a starting lineup. But let's have a look at Mr. Marto Leonardo's starting lineup. He's gone for Martinez in goal, Mings in goal, Martinez in goal, Cash right back, Konsa and Mings as the centre-back partnership, Luka Dean at left-back, then the midfield duo of Boubacar Kamara and Yuri Tillemans with Marco Asensio in front, Rodgers off the right, Rashford through the middle, and Jacob Ramsey up top. So not too many changes from the previous side. McGinn out for Asensio and Mings in for Pau Torres. What are your thoughts on that lineup, Kev?
I think if it isn't obviously Wood, it'll be a 1-year. So I still think Mings will play for that. But they're both really physical players, aren't they? I think McGinn will play. I think Asensio will come on again, and I think I always think like Rodgers is going to get a rest, and then because obviously he's away in England, isn't he? So I think I would look at that. I'd probably go for Marlon maybe off the right, and McGinn in for Asensio, and then bring those guys on. That's what I'd do. And yeah, the rest of it,
Yeah.
I'm happy. But I'm happy with that team. I still don't really like Rodgers and Asensio in the same team. Really, I think it's one or the other, unless they play in some kind of creative like two number 10s behind someone. But obviously you lack width, don't you?
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you, although I don't know if Marlon has. I mean, he scored a goal. He came on. It was one of those kind of, I guess, slightly lucky situations where it ended up being 10 minutes of added time. When I don't know if Unai Emery thought it was going to be 10 minutes, he probably thought it was going to be 3 or 4 or something
Yeah.
like that. So I don't know if he's quite done enough to get a start yet. But I agree. I think McGinn stays in, sorry, for Asensio, but I do think Mings plays. Whether I can maybe see the argument for Rodgers having a rest, but he's relied on him so much this season.
Mm.
I just don't know if he'll take him out for this game. I think there'd probably be quite a few changes made for the Southampton game as opposed to this game against Nottingham Forest. But who knows, mate? Who knows with Unai Emery? It's a difficult one. But I think someone in the chat said, I think Michael said, "What is rotation nowadays? We've got such a
It's very true.
strong squad."
It's very true. We
Adam says justice for Marlon, but you've got to be patient with him. He's on a 3 or 4 year deal. He's got a long time to go.
Yeah, we've got to think though. I think after this match in 4 days, we've got a match away in Paris in the Champions League
Yeah,
quarterfinal. So there will probably be an eye on that game, making sure there's absolute freshness. Now, not that you can do tons of rotation because Nottingham Forest is still clearly a really, really good side, but wouldn't it be a dream to have a really fast start to get yourself a couple of goals in, get a third at 60 minutes, and then you can maybe start to, be a bit shrewd with it. But it would probably know that it won't be like that. But yeah, I don't know. I look at think which players you want to be absolutely firing. I think it's essential with the quality of PSG, particularly at their place, but I think you want Rodgers absolutely flying. So I would be inclined to probably give him a little bit of a rest. You want maybe want to make sure Watkins is fully fit as well. So I know obviously Rashford's come in and done well, but I do think Watkins, if he's on it, he's probably the best option there.
yeah.
Um,
But then
yeah.
is resting them better than playing them?
They've got to train anyway, haven't they? So who knows? Maybe you're right. I think they'll obviously know. I mean, the thing is, we think it's a lot this season, and Rodgers just kept playing.
Yeah.
He was actually quite quiet and didn't have much influence, and then all of a sudden he gets 2 assists. So
Yeah, I think from that right hand side, I think he's asked to do well. You are, aren't you? As a wide player, you're asked to do more defensive duties. If you look at where he was, if you look at kind of his positioning on that right hand side compared to what he'd be asked to do in that middle, in that number 10 position, he probably wouldn't do as much defending as he's done lately. He had to back up Matty Cash quite a lot against Mitoma in particular. So you'd imagine him having to do the same against Elanga or
yeah,
Hudson-Odoi again. So he's going to be asked to do that a bit more. What is great is he's got that ability with a Marcus Rashford up top to play that longer pass. And then as the game opens up, I mean, this is what was going to be my next question to you is, do we try and go for that fast start, or we've seen of late it's kind of control the game, even if it's 0-0 at half time, that's absolutely fine because we know that particularly teams that like to press quite high, they kind of tire themselves out. We've seen it with Brighton. We saw it obviously with Preston in the cup. Obviously they had to give it a go. We saw it against Chelsea when we beat them 2-1 at home. We saw it against Brentford away from home. These teams that really press high, if we can just keep in the game and keep settled, and you might have to kind of ride your luck a little bit at times, but the game just opens up so much for you after sort of 60, 65 minutes. You can physically see it with the players on the pitch. Like they all of a sudden hit this wall because the forward players have been asked to do that much closing down. And then all of a sudden, these spaces open up, and then we've got the players like Tielemans who can move the ball on quickly. We've got Rodgers who can run and carry the ball distance at such speed. We've got Ramsey who can do the same. You've got Rashford who can get in behind. You've got the substitutions that you can bring on. It's almost like a perfect formula.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, it is absolutely. You've got a couple of different ways you could play it, really. Well, with Unai, probably about 10 different ways you can play it. I think it's I think it's a really, really interesting question. I don't think we've seen many of those really fast starts, but it would be good to get an early goal and force Forest to come out a little bit, wouldn't it? I
Mm.
mean, let's not forget as well the other side of the coin here. They need to win. If they win, they put some clear distance between us and them. So that's one of the
Yeah.
chasing teams probably out of the picture then
Well,
in
they go
terms of.
60 points, don't they, if they win?
Yeah, it's massive. It's massive,
Oof.
and they know, like we've just spoke about, like Newcastle are probably going to beat Leicester. You'd probably fancy Chelsea at Brentford because Brentford have tailed off a little bit, haven't they? You probably fancy Man City against Man United because Man United are Man United, and you never know what you're going to get. I mean, you're thinking if you're Forest now, like we were last season, you're looking over your shoulder.
Mm.
I think we could do potentially quite a lot of damage to them if we can get the win, and I do think we will. But I know what you mean. Who knows how it's going to play out? I think if we keep the ball, we've got good possession, and we can get in good positions. We're just a threat, aren't we? We're a threat from set pieces, and yeah, I mean, look, whether it's Ramsey or Rashford off the left, whether it's Rashford or Watkins in the middle, whoever it is in terms of those midfield options, we are a goal threat, and we're starting to score more and more goals lately, aren't we, as well, which is really exciting.
Yeah, I guess we've just got to be careful with that threat that they have. I mean, like Langer's very, very good at carrying the ball at
Mm.
pace, and Hudson-Odoi is very good at getting in behind. And then Elliot Anderson, wins the ball quickly, can again take the ball quite well forward, and then he gives it off and moves quickly. And then Gibbs White is very creative, sees the pass quickly, and then can chip in with a goal as well. That being said, we've done pretty well against them at Villa Park over the past few years, and yeah, I'm quietly confident. As you said, we can approach it in different ways. We've got the ability to maybe start quickly, as we've done in Celtic, one or two other games, Brentford at home. But we've also got the ability to hold it and keep possession, like you say, and kind of wait for those spaces to open up, which is probably what Forest are going to do. They'll probably try and coax us onto them, and then try and catch us on the break. So I just hope that we don't get caught out, maybe over committing too many men forward. It's Tielemans at times trying to play that creative pass can give the ball away. We've seen Morgan Rogers make some bad decisions and try and play it first time when he should be keeping hold of the ball, giving it away. I just hope that we're really professional with that. We don't get a real high line and then get caught in behind like we've done on numerous occasions this season.
Yeah, it's just essential that we win for me. I think we just need to get the 3 points. The 3 points, I don't really care how we get it as well. It can be off Tyrone Mings' his buttocks, off a corner. I don't really mind, but the 3 points is massive for us. I mean, that would obviously be 7 in a row. If we can get a win and a clean sheet, I mean, fantastic.
Mm.
Bring Ross Barkley on for the last 10 minutes. I mean, then you're in the perfect scenario, aren't you? Like,
Yeah.
your dreams have come true. But there's a lot of pressure on Forest as well. There's a lot of pressure on Forest. There is, and obviously they know for them this is crunch time for them this season to do something that no one would have predicted. And what an unbelievable opportunity when they're not going to get a better chance to do this as well. You're not going to get so many, in inverted commas, big teams. Obviously, don't mean that disrespectfully to Forest, but obviously in recent times, who are going to be off it at the same time. It's
Mm.
it's the reason why Liverpool have got what they've got. It's the reason why we're still amongst it, despite being patchy in obviously our form for a lot of the season. And it's the reason why Forest are doing so fantastically well. But for them, it's just if they can knock another one out of the park. If they get a win for them, it's just going to be absolutely massive. I think for them, I think this will probably be they beat Man United and they beat Villa. It's like, come on, they're keeping it going.
Yeah. Well, they've won 3 in a row. Villa have won 3 out of the last 4. So we're
Mm,
on the same form over the last 5 games. They've got 10 points from 5. Villa have got 10 points from the last 5. So both
mm.
teams going into it with good form. Gary said, clean sheet, City, here we come. Get Kevin responding to Dean saying the new long ball tactics over the top for Rashford to run onto.
Yeah.
Dristas says Forest will want us to have the ball. They are the last in possession in the league. We can't afford to be careless with the ball. And Kari thinks they're probably going to go long ball over the top, which is an interesting one.
Mm.
So there's already prediction score predictions coming in. I'm going to come to you in a second with your score prediction. I'm just going to do one last shout out for likes and subscribers. We're very close to 200 watching in the chat tonight. We're on X and on YouTube, so follow us at Villa Park Pod. Follow Kev at KTAVFC as well. Hit the subscribe button, totally free, and smash the like button to help. Actually, smash it as well to help us spread the word of the channel. That is also totally free as well. And get your score predictions coming through. So we've got Deontay with Aston Villa 2, Nottingham Forest 0. James says we're going to keep a clean sheet, which is massively important. Kevin says 2-1 Villa. Dunk says I'll go 3-1 to Villa. Stephen says 4-0 Villa, statement game. Dicky says 2-0 Rashford and Rodgers. Who else have we got in here? Peter says Villa 2-0. Debu to snuff Elanga on a fast break. That'd be good. We've got need Martinez to have a big game. Michael says 3-0 to the Villa. That seems to be our scoreline at the moment. Peter, I don't know if he's going for 3-0, but he says keep winning 3-0 and our goal difference will take care of itself. Who else is in the chat? Seeking said 1-0 would delight me. Kari says Villa 3-2.
Thriller.
Michael, who is going to the game. I'm also going to the game, Michael. It'll be good to see you and anyone else who's at the game as well. It'll be great to see you. I'm probably going to be in the Witten Arms or maybe in the fan zone. So come and say hello. And I know you asked about good places to go. Witten Arms is usually pretty good, or the fan zone is pretty good, I hear as well. So yes, mate, it'd be good to see anyone. Alan says a scrappy 1-0 to us. Stephen says 2-0 Villa. What are you saying, Kev? Everyone's pretty confident right now.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with what Duncan said. I think it's going to be 3-1. I do think Forest will probably get a goal, but I think we'll keep getting 3 in the opposition's net. Marco Asensio is going to keep on scoring, so even if he comes on, he'll probably score after like about a minute. I think Jacob Ramsey's going to score, and Morgan Rodgers.
Will Ollie Watkins have to do some sort of matrix move to get out of the way of the ball this time?
I mean, that was unbelievable. What a finish, by the way. It was interesting, actually, because in the week I was saying to my lad, I mean, my lad's technically pretty good at football, but I've had to really get him to work on his actual side foot, because he never finishes with his side foot. He always whips it and bends it and smashes it. And I'm like, every now and then, sometimes a hard side foot is the way to go. And I was like, wow, watch that reverse angle, that rear angle of that Asensio finish. The accuracy of that shot is absolutely unerring, isn't it? So, yeah. And Watkins, I think he must be fit enough because he had to contort his body, didn't he, like David Blaine or something? So, yeah, brilliant.
I know. Brilliant. Dean says 4-1 to the Villa. Julie says 3-0, let's go. Patty says Villa 2-0. Kari in his 3-2 win says Rodgers, Asensio and Yuri. Kevin asked for a fair ref, please.
Oh, no chance.
Yeah, they're obviously going to make it.
Just got to score enough goals, haven't we? We've got to score enough goals. Forget the rest.
Yes. And Villa Park should be rocking. We need to make it rocking. We haven't had a game at Villa Park for ages, so that would be important to get Villa Park rocking. I'm gonna say 3-1 Villa. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet, but I am confident we'll get the win. And I think it will be Morgan Rodgers, Marcus Rashford, and Oliver Watkins to score the goals. So yes, very, very positive. Putting us into that top 6 at least and marching on to Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League next week. Kev, I think that does us for tonight. Thank you very much. Everyone, make sure you smash that like button. As I said before, hit the subscribe button. Help us continue on the road to 6K. I'll be back with an instant reaction, maybe live from Villa Park, or certainly recording from Villa Park. We'll also hopefully do a winning Lions Raw show. Also, we were going to bring Talking Tactics with Gareth, but he had some issues with his car or his van today, so he couldn't get back in time. But we will be back for that after the Forest game, so make sure you tune for that. Then we've obviously got Champions League special preview for Paris Saint-Germain, so loads of shows coming up next week. Thank you all for watching, and as always, remember, we'll follow the Villa.